I was confused out of my mind at the moment and went out to the ocean, and it was a storm and I was listening to the leap. My mind was spinning and the waves looked mean. The whole world seemed mean and I felt so endlessly lonely. But then all of a sudden some clouds parted far out above the ocean and some of those angelic beams shone through. And that somehow made me snap out of the spiral and something weird happened inside. I know it sounds really gay and cliche, but I had a revelation. It was as if life threw me up and down in a whirlwind, and 1,000 angels whispered, "See-o, see-o, 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 see-o." And then the big waves didn't scare me anymore, they just seemed alive. They were my friends, and that meant so much to me. It said so much. As in a swoon, one instant, another sun, ineffable, full dazzles me, and all the orbs I knew, and brighter, unknown orbs, one instant of the future land, heaven's land. The ocean filled with joy, the atmosphere all joy, 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 in freedom, worship, love, joy in the ecstasy of life, enough to merely be, enough to breathe, joy, joy, all over joy. The perception seems to be one in which all the senses unite into one sense, in which you become the object. But this is unintelligible, mentally speaking. I do not think the matter can be defined as yet, but I do not know that there is any harm in writing about it. A young mother was sitting watching her husband and children eating breakfast, when she was suddenly overwhelmed by a feeling of how much she loved them and how lucky she was. When, to a man who understands, the self has become all things, what sorrow, what trouble can there be to him who once beheld that unity? All I can say is that there seems to be a vision possible to man as from some more universal standpoint, free from the obscurity and localism which specially connect themselves with the passing clouds of desire, fear, and all ordinary thought and emotion. In that sense, another and separate faculty, and a vision always means a sense of light, so here is a sense of inward light, unconnected of course with the mortal eye, but bringing to the eye of the mind the impression that it sees, and by means of the medium which washes, as it were, the interior surfaces of all objects and things and persons. How can I express it? And yet this is most defective, for the sense is a sense that one is those objects and things and persons that one perceives, and the whole universe. A sense in which sight and touch and hearing are all fused in identity, nor can the matter be understood without realizing that the whole faculty is deeply and intimately rooted in the ultra-moral and emotional nature, beyond the thought region of the brain. And straightway coming up out of the water, he saw the heavens rent asunder, and the Spirit as a dove descending upon him, and a voice came out of the heaven saying, "Thou art my beloved Son, in thee I am well pleased." And straightway the Spirit driveth him forth into the wilderness. And it came to pass that as I made my journey and drew nigh into Damascus about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me. And I fell unto the ground, and heard a voice saying unto me, "Saul, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me?" And I answered, "Who art thou, Lord?" And he said unto me, "I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom thou persecutest." And they that were with me beheld indeed the light, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. And I said, "What shall I do, Lord?" And the Lord said unto me, "Arise, and go into Damascus, and that shall be told thee of all things which are appointed for thee to do." And when I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand of them that were with me, I came into Damascus. Sitting one day in his room, his eyes fell upon a burnished pewter dish, which reflected the sunshine with such marvelous splendor that he fell into an inward ecstasy, and it seemed to him as if he could now look into the principles and deepest foundations of things. He believed that it was not only a fancy, and in order to banish it from his mind, he went out upon the green. But here he remarked that he gazed into the very heart of things, the very herbs and grass, and that actual nature harmonized with what he had inwardly seen. He said nothing of this to anyone, but praised and thanked God in silence. I am satisfied, I sing, dance, laugh, sing. You ask, how can we know the infinite? I answer, not by reason. It is the office of reason to distinguish and define. The infinite, therefore, cannot be ranked among its objects. You can only apprehend the infinite by a faculty superior to reason, by entering into a state in which your finite self no longer, in which the divine essence is communicated to you. This is ecstasy. It is a liberation of your mind from its finite consciousness. Like only can apprehend like, when you thus cease to be finite, you become one with the infinite. In the reduction of your soul to its simplest self, its divine essence, you realize this union, this identity. The heavens are mine, the earth is mine, and the nations are mine. So, das waren die Zitate zu der HEUREKA-HA-Situation. Aus unterschiedlichen Jahrhunderten, Zeiten, Teilen der Welt stammen diese Überlieferungen und natürlich auch sehr breit gefächert, aber sie sollen eigentlich auch die Stimmung und den Sachverhalt verdeutlichen. Hier sehen wir nun die Erklärung der vorigen Seite. Ich möchte erklären. Ich habe eine Entdeckung gemacht, der oder das Moment oder doch die Momente, in denen ich mich, Umgangssprache, wie ein ewig junger Gott fühlte. Ein, der andere Zustand, eigentlich eher auf als Zustand. Der, die das Moment, der Augenblick, in dem man, ich, du, alles beherrscht und Zeit still ist. Als ich auf einem Feuerwehrfest in Ahaus vollkommen selbstsicher, unsterblich zwischen den baumähnlichen, nach Hindernis schreienden Beinen der Erwachsenen hindurch und umherlief. Als ich in einem Londoner Museum einen Feueralarm aufgrund von Kopfhörermusik überhörte und allein durch die fossilen Gänge ging und die Skelette mit Fleisch und Haut und Leben umhüllte. Und Jura, Trias und wie die Jahrtausende alle heißen, Scheißigalosaurus wurden. Als ich in Mobile, Alabama auf einem Trampolin im Garten meiner Gasteltern lag und in den Sternenhimmel und er in mich schaute. Als ich in Neuruppin zur Abenddämmerung am Seeufer entlang joggte und ich jeden Sprung eines Fisches aus dem Sprinkelwasser hervorsehen konnte. Als ich an der Seine in Paris mit perfekt abgestimmter Kopfhörermusik spazierte und absolut nirgendwo anders sein konnte und wollte und ungemein glücklich war und weil ich noch nicht gestorben bin, lebe ich noch heute und will mir vor die Augen und den Denkapparat führen. Für mich geht es um diese Augenblicke. Ich nenne sie HEUREKA-HAs. In Klammern, Worte sind halt Worte, sie stocken da, wo ich diese Zeiten verorte. Um ein Erzählen und Weiterreichen, ein Wissen und Wertschätzen dieser Momente und ein damit einhergehendes qualitatives Potenzieren oder anders einfach ein Bewusstwerden dieser bisherigen, in Klammern, Bruchteile, die das Leben lebenswert machen. Durch ein Teilen gibt es Vermehrung, Potenzierung, Potenzieren. Jeder, der das liest und nur ansatzweise solche Momente erlebt hat, weiß, wovon ich rede und wird mir zustimmen.